Welcome to Wholesale Hotline, where we cover everything to do with wholesale real estate. I'm Jamil Damji.
I'm Brent Daniels.
And I am Pace Morby.
And together we cover the most important parts of wholesale real estate.
Lead generation.
Conversion of sellers into contracts.
And dispositions. Guys, remember when you're watching this show, do us a favor and squad up in the comments.
Make sure that you are liking and subscribing to the YouTube channels and in the Facebook group Wholesale Hotline.
Most important, we want to know we're doing a great job for you and helping you build your business. So go give us a review on iTunes and or Spotify.
So squad up and enjoy the show!
Welcome to Wholesale Hotline number 179, and we are all here. It has been too long, brothers. I am Brent Daniels, Mr. TTP. The guy with the fists is, of course, Pace Morby, Mr. Beardy Man, Mr. Trout Hat, looking fantastic, living that wilderness lifestyle, and of course, fresh back from a wonderful trip to Europe, the king of wholesaling, Jamil
How you doing,
Damji.
brother? Nice to see both of you guys. I missed you guys, man. I missed this family. I missed all of this.
Yeah.
How's everything going? How's the world? How's real estate investing? Pace, I love your beard. Brent, your muscles are bigger.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see you in a couple of days here in Montana. What an incredible future we have in front of us.
Indeed. It's been a great summer. It's been an action-packed summer.
Yeah.
As I'm sure you know, and I'm sure Keegley's going bananas as much.
The market's hot.
Yeah, it is. It is absolutely incredible right now. I am just telling you, this is the best first half of a year that we've ever had, and the second half is already set up for an incredible third quarter. So it's really exciting.
Interestingly enough, I got a phone call from. I remember that Airbnb I bought down the road for myself for $950,000. So the agent who sold it to me sent me a text message and says, "I have a buyer for you that'll take that house from you right now at 1.8."
You're joking me.
So what are you going to do?
I'm gonna keep it.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy though?
But why? I mean, why keep it? Why not double your money?
Well, it's if I got depreciation from it, I'd have to pay all that recapture. Second thing, it's cash flowing really nicely. It's right by my house. I built a garage. I'm building a gym in the garage.
Yeah.
Bobby wants to use the cold plunge. I mean, if I build the gym in the garage and I get the cold plunge in there, I think I get to keep Bobby for another year working with me. It might just entice him not to quit. All the things, right? So he look at his face. He's like, "Nah, I'm still gonna quit."
He's got one foot on a bicycle. I'm telling you that.
I know.
Yeah.
Every time I see him on BMX, I'm like, "Oh, that's who he leaves me for."
Catherine says, Pace, are you still in the Denny's parking lot? I did a live today for Top Tier TC, the new portion of the community that we just launched, and I was in a Denny's parking lot all morning this morning in freaking Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, dropping Asher off, and I drove basically round trip today, 12 hours. No, I am all the way back. You can see the Airstream behind me. I'm all the way back in Kalispell, Montana, getting ready for Jamil's arrival. I think you and Charisma are coming on Wednesday. Is that right?
Yes, sir. We're coming in Wednesday afternoon. I'm actually coming in with Bobby too, so we're just really excited to see you guys. It's going to be a phenomenal time. My DMs are blowing up from people just salty, trying to do everything they can do to try to get in. There's nothing I can do, guys. We're oversold. It's completely, it's shut. It's nothing. There's no chance, but you can think about what you could do to attend a potential 2024 one. I don't know,
Yeah, I think this is the practice
in Montana.
Yeah.
Tell us about it.
Well, I'll let Pace tell us about it because he's been putting together. I mean, look, I was traveling, so I didn't have my hand in any of the setup of this. Pace and Jerry Norton have put together an incredible time for us. Pace, what are we doing in Montana?
So like a year ago, Jamil and I were talking about doing a joint event together. Just since we travel around so much, people are like, hey, will you do a big, massive event? And we thought about it, and we really wanted to do something that was more team building, getting together, hanging out, doing things rather than sitting in a ballroom for 3 days, because there's other events that are phenomenal and they do that. So we were like, let's do something outdoors. Let's do something really fun. And it proved to be basically impossible. And so I called Jerry and I said, hey, Jerry, you know, I know we've got this tradition where me and Jamil come up, bring our daughters, we hang out on the private lake for a couple of days. And we're going to definitely do that this summer. But would you mind if I bring like 20 people and we just do like a little private event? And Jerry's like, yeah, 20 people. That sounds great. Let's figure it out. So I made a post and I said, hey, we're inviting 150 people to Jerry's house to a private event. And now it's turned out to be, we've had like 4,000 inquiries, people trying to come. We've let very active giver-centric members of our communities. TTP members are coming, Astro members are coming, Subto, Top Tier TC, Vina Jetty, Abraham Gray, and Henry Washington ended up jumping on board with it as well. And now we're at like 280 people for a private 30-person event. So it's it is literally 19 times larger than what we anticipated and planned for. And so we've been turning people down for the last month. But essentially, it's day one starts Wednesday. No, I'm sorry. Day one starts Thursday. We're going to do a little bit of team building at a ballroom for about six hours or so, hanging out, doing some education. We've got some very, very special things planned for that 6 hours. And then we're going to go out from 5 o'clock to midnight, basically, and hang out on Jerry Norton's private lake. He's got 2 houses right next to each other. We've got 3 boats on a private lake. We're going to go just cruise around and hang out. That's it. We've got taco trucks and all sorts of stuff coming to the house. And Jerry's been clamoring, getting the house ready for that. And then day number 2, we are touring a big $6.5 million property. And it's a spec build that Jerry Norton's brother is about to list. And so he's going to go through the story, talk about how he's making that kind of money, how luxury always dominates. He says he picks a specific lane. So he's going to teach a little bit of that. And I just got a phenomenal property under contract, $6 million RV park, 150 units roughly. It's got RV spaces completely booked out 7 months out of the year. It's got glamping sites already booked out 7 months out of the year. Proven model for 15 years, wonderfully taken care of. It's got self-storage on the property as well. And it's cash flowing, and I'm buying it on seller finance and partnering with a local Montana student here named Jordan. So we might tour that property as well. And then day after all of that, we're going to Brian Norton, Jerry Norton's brother's farm, and we're going to have a shindig. We're going to have like a good old country boy shindig, music, things for the kids to do, massive big white tent for 300 people to be under. The white tent, okay, this is a free event, by the way. We're not charging anybody to go to this event. We invited them so we could hang out with them, do deals, collaborate, network, etc. The tent alone was $11,000. Like that's what we're doing for this event. We're going all out. And what is very exciting about day number 2 is that we have a couple of guests coming to speak to us. Number 1, we've got Brandon Turner from Bigger Pockets is coming over and hanging out with us for a couple of hours. He wants to jam and collaborate. He's going to speak for a little bit. And that will lead into Tim Ballard, the guy who is literally the most Googled human being on planet Earth right now. Tim Ballard from the Sound of Freedom movie that just got released and is just smashing records and making sound waves. Tim Ballard is flying in private and is going to spend 3 or 4 hours with us at our private event and do a private screening and talk about some of the things that he's up to. Super exciting, celebrity type of status guy coming in and hanging out. And then day 3, we're going to do some private stuff, maybe shoot some guns, jump on the lake, and just hang out. Less real estate, a lot more collaboration, a lot more connecting, a lot more just communicating with people, eyeball to eyeball, belly to belly. And what Jamil was alluding to earlier is I think what we'll do is I think in 2024, we're probably going to do some sort of like Lollapalooza for real estate type of thing and just go, look, everybody's doing their events in California and Arizona and Dallas, and those are amazing. But there's no reason for us to do the same thing as everybody else. Like, let's support them and what they're doing. But why don't we think about something that's super unique, and let's do something up in a place that nobody ever gets to go travel to. Let's go to a private lake. Let's go to private places that, and show people real estate that we normally don't talk about. Montana. So we'll see. I think 2024, I think we're going to try and do a 2,000 person event in a very special, unique location. I can't promise we can get 2,000 people on Jerry's Lake. However, on Wednesday, hopefully Jamil comes in on time. I am touring a property across the lake from Jerry, 91 acres, seller finance on the lake, that if I do buy this, this will be the future venue for our events that we do every single summer.
Boom. Is it the same house that you were chasing a little while ago?
Yes, sir. 91 acres right on the water. It has a conservation easement, so nobody is allowed to build around the property. And the seller, he was stuck. He was like, I don't want to sell. I don't want to sell. There's no reason I would sell. And I go, well, why wouldn't you sell? You're not using the property 90% of the year. Why wouldn't you sell? And he says, well, because I actually use it 10% of the year. And I go, well, what if you sell it to me on seller finance and I'll just let you stay here for the next 10 years? You pick 6 weeks out of the year and I'll navigate around your schedule, and you can stay at the property. I'll pay for the utilities, the taxes, the insurance. We sign an agreement and a waiver, and you can stay here. He's like, you would do that? I'm like, yes. He's like, great, come on over. Let's figure this out. So Wednesday, I'm going across. Literally, this is what Jerry and I are doing. We're taking his boat across the lake to the other house instead of driving to the house. And I hope that it becomes a future venue that we can do a lot of fun things in the future together.
Crazy.
So that's it.
Insane, right? What a thing.
280?
280 people coming, yeah. And, just a nice mix of different people from different communities, and, a lot of subto folks there, some Astro Flipping, yeah. TTP, Flipping Mastery, Vena's multifamily community, and just kind of putting it in a way that's like, hey, we're not always needing to get together and talk about, hey, let's comp some houses. Let's get into the deals. What about, hey man, how many kids you got?
Yeah.
Or what's going on in your life? Or how can you what kind of person, what are your hobbies? What do you like to do? Because here's the thing, right? I mean, we've come up together in this business, and
yep.
we're all friends, and we love each other, right? But if we couldn't stand each other, if we didn't have similar values, like, one of the things that I can say about the two of you is you're both such incredible family men.
Yeah.
Right. I've seen you both around your children, around your wives. I've been around both of you guys alone when you're not around your wives, and you're the same guys. You're wonderful husbands, wonderful fathers, wonderful men. The kind of men I want to be around, right?
Yeah.
And so I wouldn't know that if I didn't know you guys on a personal level. There's no way. I wouldn't know what your energy was. I wouldn't know how you were outside.
Yeah.
And here's the deal, right? We make money together, but what about hanging out on the weekend? What about going on a holiday? What about being able to call somebody and saying, hey man, I'm going through something right now. Do you got a few minutes to give me some counsel, because I trust you and I value you as a human being? Can we talk about maybe something that's going on in my marriage or something that's going on in my life? These are the kinds of connections that people need to be able to make. And this is the only kind of thing, this is the only kind of place where that can happen at.
Yeah.
You can't do that in a ballroom where you put on an event in Las Vegas or whatever, and people are rushing in and out to get in between sessions and breakouts and this and that, and they're drinking and there's all the crazy, yes, there's a time and a place for that, but I'm not going to get to meet a Pace Morby, and make a friend like that there. I'm not going to be able to meet a Brent Daniels and make a friend like that there. So I think this is where that can happen.
It's really interesting when I take my team, we hit goals, right? And I take them on trips.
Yep.
We don't talk real estate at all.
Right.
Ever. I mean, maybe like not even like a little bit. It's just all about bonding and getting together. And then once we come back, we get back into our, rhythm. But the business actually grows because of that. The relationships are just so much stronger. The bond is so much stronger. And this is really, I think that this is like a big version of what people should be doing in their own businesses with their own teams. If you can't take your teams out and enjoy them as human beings, and it's all just business all the time, one, you're probably not that great of a leader. And two, maybe you got the wrong people on your team. You know what I mean?
Right.
If it's always business all the time, it doesn't allow relationships to breathe.
Right.
Yeah, I love it. I think it's incredible, absolutely incredible. And you're not charging.
No,
It's just whoever
not
got
charging.
there.
Yeah, it was an invite. It was an invitation situation this time because of the limitations that
Yeah.
we have in size, and
Yeah.
it'll likely remain that way into next year. I mean, look, Pace absolutely. This is his brainchild, right? This
Yeah.
is something that he's when he reached out and was like, "Hey, I want to do this crazy thing. Are you on board?" I mean, of course I'm on board. But did I hang up the phone and say, "Like, this man is crazy"?
Yeah.
Yes, I did that too. But at the same time, this is an incredible thing. You know, this is such a cool thing, and what it's turning into is like he said it. It's the Woodstock of real estate.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that next year that this is going to be the Woodstock of real estate, and it'll continue to grow and grow, and it'll turn into a like the
Burning Man.
Yeah, Burning Man. It'll be the biggest thing that you know, and truly people will. That I think friendships will form. I think business partnerships will form. I think relationships will form. I think babies will be made. I think so many things, millions of deals will be done.
Yeah.
All kinds of things are going to happen in this type of environment, and I'm with it. I think it's incredible and it's beautiful, and I'm so grateful to have friends in my life that have a heart enough to say, "Hey, I'm going to go write checks for $11,000 for a tent." Jerry did. I don't know. He's probably spent $10,000 just paving his driveway.
Yeah.
You know, like just guys who are ready to throw money with no return, just to provide an opportunity for people to hang out and have fun.
Love it.
What a thing.
Yeah. Should we do some Q&A today? We haven't been
Let's
together,
do it.
all three of us, in a long
11th
time.
card. Yeah, there you go.
Ahmad Safar,
Ahmad, I'm
dude.
working on my first deal now, you guys.
Let's go,
All
Ahmad.
right.
Let's go.
do this. Come on, man.
Nice work, bro. Well done, dude. Well done.
That is awesome. Did my first deal, another one. Look at Joe. All right.
Come on, Joe. 4K.
That is awesome. What'd you make on your first deal? Do you remember?
47,000.
Yeah. 47,000?
After fees, it was 50 grand, but I paid a realtor, the real estate lawyer his fees, and it was like just a little over 47,000. Yeah.
Mine was like 4,700.
I mean, I was in Canada. I didn't even know what wholesaling was, so it was.
What was it called?
A skip transfer.
Skip transfer. There you go.
Yeah.
Universe the Creator. I got 3 sellers willing to do seller finance on their triplexes. Please help me close on these.
So guys, here's what I would do, right? This is why we do Wholesale Hotline, and you guys see us talk about the word squat up all the time. This is why you come to our live podcasts, so you guys can find subto students, Astro students, TTP students that can help you out. And if you got sellers willing to do it, then you guys should be locking up and doing deals together. I'd say right now, close to 60% of my business is entirely my students coming to me and bringing me problems that I'm like, I'll buy that, or let's partner together, or whatever. And they do the same thing to non-students. So what I would do is find students, Universe the Creator, and have them help you get on the phone and structure these deals. You're likely not going to be the buyer on the deal. You're probably going to assign those to somebody else. So find a student that can help you lock them up and help you find a buyer for those. Okay. Ooh, here's a good question.
Maybe put your name somewhere. Unless that is your full name. Universe.
Oh, yeah. That's a good one. Here's a good one right here. Jamil, what kind of investments are required to become a wholesaler?
What kind of investments are required to become a wholesaler? So I'm going to unpack that a little bit, because I think I understand what you're asking. I think what you want to ask is, what type of properties would be viable to be wholesaled? Or are you asking, what characteristics do I need to be a wholesaler? Let's go with A. So what kind of properties would I be looking for as a wholesaler? Well, they'd be properties that have some kind of potential. What do I mean by potential? It means that you can add some value. You can do a renovation. You could do an addition. You could figure out how to increase the rent. You would add value to the property so that you could take the property's value and increase it by forcing appreciation. So what that means is that if this property has the potential to make some money, that means it's valuable to somebody. That means somebody would want to buy it. So if I can lock up or get under contract a property that has some potential in it where somebody could make money on it, that's a wholesale deal. That's a wholesalable property, right? The key here, there has to be an opportunity to make money. That's what why would somebody want to buy a contract off of you unless they could take what they paid you and make money from it, right? So that's the concept. That's what you're trying to find.
Yeah, and it's not much unlike wholesaling shoes or wholesaling anything else, right? You're finding something at a lower price and then finding a buyer that's willing to pay over what you locked it up at, right? So people that do this with Nikes, they do it with friggin' Jordans all the time. People buy Jordans for $200, sell them for $300. And if you're a really good shoe reseller, you'll find the buyer before you actually negotiate the price with the seller, so that basically you're no money out of pocket and you're making this money without having to have a lot of upfront expenses. I think the number one thing you've got to have as an investment in wholesale is time. You got to put the time in. You got to learn the terminology. You got to watch 100 videos. If I were you guys, I'd be on Brent Daniels, Jamil, and Jerry Norton's YouTube channel listening to wholesale stuff. And I had a guy ask me a question on one of my voice memos on my Instagram DMs the other day. He says, can you just show me the shortcut? I don't feel like I want to wait 6 months to figure out how to get this business done. I'm like, you got doctors that are willing to go put 16 years in to make 300 grand a year, and you're not willing to put 6 months in of learning terminology and networking with people and accumulating relationships and resources and skills to make millions of dollars. Like, I think the number one thing you guys probably will agree with me on is you have to invest in your mindset. And that is a broken mindset. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely.
Yep. Well, I think, listen, when you're getting started in this, you got to pick a model. Pick a model. Jamil's model is go out and talk to all the real estate agents, all the wholesalers, all the people that can give you multiple deals a year, build those relationships in a real strong relationship-based model. Mine is go into the streets and go find those properties that need some significant investment and go have a conversation with the property owner. So where do you want to go? What model do you want to go with? And then pick a tribe. Who do you vibe with? You got to be surrounded by people doing this business, because if you're just going to jump into it, that's why we do this every Monday. It's a commingling of all of our communities. It's fantastic.
And not only that, pick a tribe. I was on my Astro call the other day, and you guys probably saw in the last 2 weeks a whole bunch of Astro Flipping students joining TTP and subto. It's been happening, and it's because I've been yelling at them about it.
Yeah.
I've been saying, why are you guys being so flippin' cheap? You make how much money a month wholesaling, doing deals, yet you're sitting here being like, how do I find more TTP people? Join TTP, dummy.
Yeah.
Okay, well, so I'm making $50,000 a month now in my wholesale business, but I want to start doing some creative deals. How do I find people doing Join subto. Like, it's not only a commingling. It's like, listen, I want everybody in Astro Flipping to connect with the Rhino folks. I want everybody in Astro to connect with the subto people. I want everybody from subto to know everybody in Astro and everybody in TT. Why wouldn't we want that? And if somebody's mastered agent outreach, why shouldn't they come and learn direct to seller?
Absolutely.
If somebody's learned agent outreach, why shouldn't they come and learn creative finance and how they've been able to communicate with agents and turn that into creative deals? Why pigeonhole yourself? Why put yourself in a box? Right? You go out there.
Do you think you should master one first?
Yeah, of course
you
master one first. Yeah. Of course you master one first. You figure something out, you make money, you get your wheels turning, you figure it out, you get money in the bank, and then you say, okay, I want to expand this. I want to build another vertical in my business, and I'm going to go after it.
And then you actually have to have conversations with property owners or people that represent property owners.
Correct.
And then you make offers. And that's it. I mean, that's the business comes down to lead generation, conversion of those leads into a signed agreement, and then your disposition or your exit strategy. That's how us three started this show.
It's the game.
The lead generation, the conversion, and the dispo. And so,
do you remember this conversation with Joel?
That's so cool, dude.
Do you remember this?
Oh, bro, this man has been watching us for over a year. An incredible guy.
Probably 3 years.
And he's an incredible guy. I met him in Houston when we went to Pace's book signing, and he lifted me right up and gave me the biggest hug. He's a phenomenal guy, but you know what? He was crippled by fear.
Yeah.
He was crippled by fear. And he watched Wholesale Hotline. He squatted up. He built his community. He created friendships. He created opportunity for him. And then he gained confidence. And then he went off there and he did it. Now look at him.
Mm-hmm.
Now he can't take the caps off. He's so excited about what's going on in his life. Congratulations, Joel. You deserve it.
Yeah, he's got Dom and Angie Milanazzo supporting him, helping him. I think he's been live streaming on YouTube his phone calls with agents every day. And he's just like, look, dude, we got agents sending us off-market deals. You got Myron right here, says we have 9 in escrow right now, sending another contract. In his first year, just a FYI, Myron and Carolyn Briley out of Dallas, in their first year in real estate, they were reading a ton of books, watching Bigger Pockets, hadn't taken the action, and then they, boom, joined into all of our collective community. And they owned 70 doors in their first year, put in 70 doors in their portfolio in their first year. And they're doing many, many more now going into their second year. So super proud of them. They are coming to community camp. So looking forward to seeing them. Okay. Did you go to your appointment to negotiate today with the seller? No, Kelly. That is happening Wednesday. The seller has guests staying at the property that I'm negotiating on. So we moved that to Wednesday. And Jerry, I'm glad we did, because Jerry wasn't able to go with me on Monday. He's now able to go with me on Wednesday. This will be my first seller appointment with my buddy Jerry Norton live. He's like, should we bring a video guy? I was like, yes, 100%. Okay. This one's a good one. Jamil probably can answer this one really, really well. Jamil, what do you got for us here?
Studio 7 asks, how do I estimate the cost of repairs when underwriting a deal for wholesale? So there's a few ways you can do this. First things first, I look at the property and hopefully I'm looking at pictures, right? So if I'm looking at something that an agent sent me, or I'm looking at a listing or whatever, I'm going to look at the photos and I'm going to determine eyeball, is this a cosmetic or is this a full gut remodel? Because those are the two categories that I really put most of my properties in. Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's fire burn. Yeah, there's, foundation and all that. I'm just looking, and that happens 5 to 10% of the time, but the majority are going to be cosmetic and full gut. Okay, what's cosmetic? Cosmetic is paint, carpet, flooring, kitchen, primary bathroom. Roof is going to be good. The AC is going to be good. Electrical is going to be good. Plumbing is going to be good. This is just cosmetic, okay? Full gut is going to be, I'm going to need a new roof. I'm going to need to probably do some electrical work. I'm probably going to need to do some plumbing stuff. I might have a little bit of mold. I'm going to be doing all of the flooring. I'm going to be doing all of the bathrooms. I'm going to be resurfacing every wall. And so there's a big difference between those two types. Now, I have a dollar per square foot calculation that has been pretty accurate for every market outside of California. So if you have, and I've got how they scale in California too, so I'll give that to you. So if you're in most markets in the United States, a cosmetic remodel right now is going somewhere around $40 a square foot. Okay, $40 a square foot. A full gut remodel is somewhere around $60 to $65 a square foot. Now, if you're talking about California, a cosmetic remodel is going to start at around $65 a square foot. And a full gut remodel is going to hit you somewhere in the $90 a square foot price point. So that's where it looks nationally. As you guys can see, cost of repair is dramatically higher in California than it is anywhere else in the United States. But that's how I would be doing my math. Again, is the calculations that I gave you right now 100% accurate? Absolutely not. You should probably go and get a bid. But here's what we've done before. I've had Pace, who has been a general contractor for decades. Him and I have gone into properties where he's gone and, he knows how much a door handle costs, how much flooring costs per square foot, how much paint costs per square foot, how much all of it costs. He's done thousands of remodels. He was Open Doors main contractor, Zillow's main contractor. If anybody understands repair costs, it's Pace Morby. Pace and I had walked into a house together. He went and he did the full estimate, and then I did my little dollar per square foot, and we were within a few $100 of each other. So do you want to?
You did yours in 30 seconds, and mine took about 30 minutes.
Right. So do you want to be able to get to your numbers fast, or do you want to take, more time? I think if you're going to take a property down, you want to do it the way Pace does. You want to get into your budgets and really understand your math if you're going to commit and buy the property. But if you're locking up the property for purposes of wholesale, you should be able to get to your numbers quick.
All right. So we've got Brent Daniels. When I'm wholesaling,
yep.
Where do you find the buyers? By the way, Kid Cosmos, I feel so bad. I actually kicked you out of Wholesale Hotline. So he's not in here anymore. I kicked him out. He made a comment. He said, "You guys are so slow in your introduction. I washed my dishes while you were doing your intro. Please hurry up next time." And I was like, I don't vibe with you, but you got a good question. So I'll answer your question after you get booted. So Brent, when I'm wholesaling, where do I find these buyers?
Yeah, listen, I mean, if you just want to go the easiest path, you can literally just look up, go into Zillow or Redfin and go find any of the real estate agents that have a flip listed in that zip code. The likelihood that they have buyers or they are the buyer is probably your best bet right off the bat. We're having a huge success with Property Sonar, and that's with Audantic. And they take all the cash buyers, and I think it's like a few grand a year. And Buyer Sonar is what it's called. And all 100. And they rank all the buyers in town. It's phenomenal. Have you seen that?
Actually, I'm working on a product right now.
Yeah.
I'm just this morning structured a situation for the three of us that could be very, very interesting for us to look at.
Awesome.
And it's exactly what you just described. So it's taking all of the buyer data in every major market in the United States, and it's ranking all the buyers. But get this, not only is it giving you the name of the LLC, not only is it telling you how they purchased it, so it's also going in and determining
that context.
Is this a cash buyer who bought just because he's rich, or a cash buyer who bought it as an investor?
Right.
And then the last thing is their contact information. Yes,
on,
it
bro.
comes with
Come
it.
on.
You don't got to skip trace it. Can you believe that? It's insane. It's incredible. And right now, so these guys, their pricing was going to be really high.
Yeah.
And so we were chatting, and I've been negotiating. They would have gotten away, and they could have, considering what Investor Lift charges, right?
Yep.
They're at like $6,000 a year or something. It's expensive, right? Mm-hmm. So they were planning to come to market at, because it comes with the numbers, right? They were planning to come into market around $700 to $800 a month.
Yeah.
I'm negotiating something right now where we'd be under 200.
Awesome.
And I'm excited about that. I think this is going to change the game. And what I want to do is make it available just to the three of us and make it a Wholesale Hotline buyer opportunity. So I'm going to talk to you guys offline about it, but it's going to be something
exciting things coming.
It's really exciting. I mean, the fact that you just said that right now, it just like, look, dude, the hair on my arms are standing up right now because this is. I mean,
it's unbelievable,
unreal, dude. Unreal.
I mean, it's like all the properties that we go after that are in, that look rough and in distress, whether it be multifamily or single family or condos or townhomes. We can get the phone numbers for that. We can get that just from batch leads or whatever and get that. But buyers, they're in the LLCs. You got to find out who the managing member is. What is the actual phone number for them?
It takes way long.
It's a few steps in the
open
process.
Open corporates. I mean, there's a whole process, just like you said, but this actually has their phone numbers and email addresses.
Oh my gosh.
So it's all of it, dude. In one.
It's about time. Awesome.
Check this out. I love this. This is one of the things I love talking about the most is when people say, where do I find private capital? I tell you, one of my favorite places to find private capital is my sellers. My sellers turn into my private money lenders on my flips, on my buy and holds, etc. So Brittany, one of the sub-2 students, she says, Pace, we've got a seller that's becoming our lender. Your sellers will become your lenders. This is the craziest thing ever. With their proceeds, they are giving us $100,000 principal only payments. Oh my gosh, this is amazing. How can I secure funds for the seller until we have a deal for it? So here's what's going on. I'm reading between the lines. So Brittany buys a property cash. Okay. The seller's getting $100,000 in proceeds, and the seller's turning around and lending that back to Brittany and saying, hey, pay me 0% interest, no payments. Just secure it against a property. Make sure I'm secure. Brittany's saying, how do I secure it against a new property? Well, Brittany, a couple of things. I've done this for sub-2 students. I know this is a little bit crazy and on the edge, but if you email Molly at pacemorby.com, I will show you how. I'll even leverage one of my properties in a lien position to secure your lender. Just explain the deal to me and Molly, and I'll do it for you for free. We'll show you how to do it. And the reason I would do that is so we can show the rest of the sub-2 community how it's done. So Brittany, email Molly at pacemorby.com, and we'll have Molly set it up. It's really simple, easy thing to do. Okay. Ooh, look, dude, this new star feature. I don't know if you guys see the star feature.
It's amazing.
This is freaking dope. Just closed our first sub-2 wholesale, Myrtle Beach, no money down. Brittany, you should have sold that to me. I buy in Myrtle Beach. Brittany, how dare you sell that to somebody else? But that's okay. You do what you got to do.
Can't buy every house in America, Pace Morby.
Okay, this one is an interesting one. I like this one. Heidi says, how do you convince your business partner that KPIs are valuable to the success of your business? So what's the likelihood that Heidi's the integrator and she has some crazy visionary that's like, yo, F all that stupid KPI stuff. I'm just going to go out and do the thing. Brent, you want to tackle this one?
You don't want me tackling this one?
No, you don't want to tackle it?
No, because I don't believe in business partners.
Oh, right. That's true. That's true. That's true.
I know Heidi. She can't fire her business partner. They're married.
Oh, okay, got it. Okay, well that's different. I've seen brothers and family members be unbelievable business partners. I've seen you and your partners be unbelievable, and Pace and yours be unbelievable. I just if you're married, then that's a whole. I'm going to defer to you there.
Well,
Jamil.
I think she wants to hear something from somebody else. So
Okay.
Pace, why don't you help Heidi if you would here, because they've heard from me already. But
Heidi,
what do you think?
What you measure will expand. Whatever you focus on will expand. And KPIs are so magical is that when you have clarity, like most of the people running a business, they have no idea what's going on with their financials, their books, their bookkeeping, et cetera. They're like ostriches with the head caught in the sand. And so their efficiency dwindles because they don't know what's going on, right? And then all of a sudden you have clarity. You're like, oh my gosh, I see where the problems are. Typically, the people that don't want to see the KPIs know that the KPIs are bad. And so they don't. And it's like always a visionary. But I can tell you when you see what Brent is not telling you, what he has talked about on previous shows, is although Brent doesn't believe in partners for himself, he does have people in his company that do the integration. They track the KPIs. They do the things that an integrator partner does in my partnership, and what Hunter does in Jamil's partnership. I can tell you, Keegley does not scale to where Keegley is if it wasn't for Hunter.
Not a chance. Keegley would have been in my phone.
Yeah, but what if you hired him? What if you hired him when he was 18 or 19 or whatever back?
I would never have kept him. I would have never been able to have Hunter as an employee. He's just not that man.
He actually wasn't. He was an employee. He was an employee prior to that, and the reason why he ended up partnering with Jamil is because he was already departing with a previous employer, saying, "I should be the owner," and so that was just his specific personality.
Yep.
Yeah.
I know me. For me, if I have to be in the office and I have to manage employees, if I have to hire an integrator, I will break out in a rash and I will light on fire. So for me, I'd rather give half of everything to somebody so I never have to go to the office, but different strokes for different folks. It works well. I'd say half of the people I know don't have partners. Half of the other people I know do have partners. So it works well. You just got to figure out what avenue you have. So Heidi, the reason why your husband doesn't believe in KPIs is because he's the guy that probably doesn't want to know what's going on with the KPIs. Just start with one. The reason he doesn't like it is because you haven't provided evidence. Provide evidence that KPIs work and track them internally with yourself, and then work on focusing to fix those KPIs. Let's say we're not making enough calls. You don't need to tell him, hey, we need to be making 50 calls a day. Just tell him, hey, we need to make more calls. Let's make more calls. Track how many you're making and compare month over month and say, see, we made more calls this month. We made $42,000. The month before that, we made less calls. We made $31,000. KPIs are important. Boom. You've been evidenced. Okay.
But so let's just say that your partner is evidenced, right?
Yeah.
Just to expand this a little bit, because I think there's a second part here. Can you get, like, talking about putting a square putting a circle in a square, whatever, you know what I'm talking about, trying to make somebody what they're not.
Yes.
Right? Pace, brother.
Yeah.
If I put you in a situation where I was like, hey, do the magic that you do, but track it. Just track all the things, right? Just track the tracking process for a guy like yourself or you or me, that, the integrator work, when you have a person like us, we break, dude. Like, I don't know that I could sit and do it, like, I don't know that I could actually. And so is it foolhardy to try to get somebody whose personality and whose energy is all over the place and big and very extroverted, to try to get them to do integrator work, like tracking their numbers and being accountable to their KPIs and that? Or is it make more sense to put somebody like that down, wind them up and say, go, I'll track it?
Yes. The last one. And here's the thing, is that what I used to track when I was just by myself was very minimal KPIs, because I found that my personality just won't track anything. Right. The KPI I tracked, very simple. How many red squares do I have on my Google Calendar this week? And a red square was an appointment that was set on my calendar to meet with sellers in person. And if I didn't have red squares, my siren should be going off. So my idiot, barbaric butt needed something very basic when I didn't have an integrator that was excited about that. Now my partner, Cody, tracks things and I'm like, why are you tracking that? But I'm grateful. I text him like every 3 or 4 days. I'm so grateful for you. Thank you for doing the things that you do. I think, Jamil, my personal opinion, I don't want to be told to go track anything. I want to be told, go out in the street, get the contracts, bring the contracts back.
Yep. 100%. So I think, Heidi, you're trying to get somebody to do something that they're probably not set to do or built to do. And so you really want to be mindful of that and honor people's personality types. And instead of, because how can I get mad if I go to if I have a dog, right? And I say to my dog, I'm like, why can't you climb trees? Mm-hmm. Or why don't you clean yourself better?
Yeah.
Or why don't you do the things cats do? Right?
Yeah.
I'd be crazy, because why would I expect my dog to do cat things?
Well, and I think Pace hit this early on. You worry about KPIs if you're not making the money you want to make.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
From you know what I mean? Like, we track everything, but it's all, where are we at in relation to our goals?
Yeah.
And do we have to talk to more people? Do we have to go on more appointments? Do we have to, tracking all those things is really important. But I think if it's a 2-person team, I think you just have to have the conversation of, are we hitting our goals? And is there something stopping you from going out and taking action? And if you got somebody that's an action taker, get out of their way.
This one's a good one. Brittany Berryman, amazing Astro student, heavy in fitness, does a good amount of deals, has a bomb that we've all heard before. It's a cliche phrase, but they're cliche for a reason. You can't manage what you don't measure.
Yep.
And imagine trying to get healthier. Let's say you're trying to gain weight in terms of muscle mass, but you're not tracking your protein. Are you going to be able to gain muscle mass if you're not eating the proper amount of protein?
Nope.
It's physically impossible.
Yep.
So it's the same thing with, am I going to be able to go out and get wholesale deals if all I'm doing is scrolling through Zillow and looking at properties and go, oh, that's a good one. Oh, that's a good one. Oh, that's a good one. No. Brent said it earlier. Conversations with motivated sellers. That's the number one thing you should be tracking in the very beginning, is, are you actually having conversations? That's number one. There was a really good question a couple of minutes ago, was, what's the first basic KPI I should be tracking? It's conversations. How many conversations?
100%.
Number two, how many offers am I
Yep.
submitting? Okay. Yep. Those are the two. Okay. Because what's going to happen is you're going to either get contracts or you're going to get contracts. That's it. If you're submitting offers, it's physically impossible for you.
And then I would say 3 pace is we'd take KPI number 1, which is conversations, and then we would split that into new and then follow up.
Yep.
And then if you once you dial all that in, everything else is just extra.
Mm-hmm.
That right there is the meat and potatoes of a business,
Mm-hmm.
or a wholesale business at least.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then listen, when you grow your team, you have to be able to track more, because you can only manage what you can measure. You can't just be like, are we getting deals? Are we not getting deals? What's going on here, right? You need to have those metrics. And so every week we get on this board here and we go through our scoreboard. You know, how many people did we talk to? How many hours did we call? How many offers did we make? How many lead follow-up calls did we make? How many appointments did we go on? How many deals did we lock up? What did we make? And what is it in relation to our goals? I mean, you don't have to, this isn't like, you know, we're not doing chemistry here. You know what I'm saying? Like we're just having quality conversations with people that have made a decision that they're going to sell their property. And I think that fundamentally, guys, you need to find out, have people made the decision that they're going to sell their property? Because I know when I started out, I was spending way too much time trying to convince people that the market's right now, and look at these other opportunities that you could put your money in, or the market might crash. You don't want to be one of those people that, like in 2009, that were talking at barbecues that they wish they would have sold their house and now all their equity's gone. Do you? No. So why don't you put it on? Why don't you sell your property now? You know, that doesn't work. They have to make they need to be at the place where they've made the decision that they want to sell that property, and then from there you just pre-qualify them, and boom, now you got a pipeline of leads that you're rocking and rolling.
I got 2 questions real fast. Same answer. Okay. Facebook user says, I just taught an agent about sub 2. Now she wants to get a deal done with her seller via sub 2. Braden Mount. After the seller accepts sub 2 conditions, how do I close the call? Trying to wholesale some deals in MO?
Missouri.
Are you sure it's not Montana?
Missouri.
Okay. Are you sure? Okay. So same answer to both questions. The answer is get a sub 2 student to help you. There's a lot of sub 2 students I see in here. I see Jonah Korchin right out of the gate. See him right there. See Ingrid. See a lot of the Bash brothers are in here. Tons of people are in here. Gary, see you in there. A lot of people. Robin, Carly, reach out to the sub 2 community. They will fill in the gaps where you don't have them. My YouTube channel can only get you about 1% of the way through. As hard as I work, it's about 1% of what you need. You got to work with the sub 2 community. There you go. Myron Briley is actually his name, Kyle. Myron Briley. If you are a sub 2 community member, say it in the side chat so the non-sub 2 community members can link in with you, reach out to you, DM you, whatever they got to do. All right. This one's a good one for you, Jamil. Just want you to comment on this just real quick, if you don't mind.
Absolutely. Love to.
Chris says,
Saward.
Just started wholesaling, and I've already learned so much from Jamil. I'm so thankful. I'm saving money to join.
Get in there, Chris.
Beautiful, Chris. I'd love for you to become a part of the community, but also, you know, at the same time, squat up with people in the chat, man. There, you can learn and gain so much without even having to write that check. I'd even tell you, don't bother. Just hang out with Astro students in the chat and go get some deals done. Let's make some money. Let's make some money together, my friend.
Jamil, is land more valuable with an existing foundation or less valuable due to new buyers' discretion? Now, there's a caveat here because we've seen foundations that have been poured on a new build that the builder decided, I don't want to finish the project. Is that the foundation we're talking about? Or are we talking about an 1810s foundation that's sitting there falling apart? Maybe you should touch base on both of those.
Yeah, I mean, you know, at the end of the day, a foundation, it's 50-50. It's if it's usable or not. You know, it may not have, first and foremost, even if it's just the wrong size, they can always add on to it. So the size of it isn't the issue, but typically the quality and the age of it is what's going to be the conversation. And then especially if you're going to be adding to that foundation, because, you know, you're not likely going to want to build in the same footprint that was already there. So like Pace said, it depends on, is this newer or is this older? If it's older, it's probably going to be too small. and it's not likely going to be viable any longer. So if that's the case, if it's an older foundation that might not be viable, then you're going to need to dig it up. And so the land will actually be less valuable with the foundation there, because you're going to have to spend the money to dig that old foundation up and remove it. However, if the foundation is viable, then it'll save your future buyer, or you, if you're the builder, a little bit of money, and not a lot of money, a little bit of money. Don't let anybody tell you, oh, this foundation here, this is going to save you $50,000, so you should pay us an extra $50,000 for this. That ain't going to happen.
No.
All right. The most I'd say, give that, depending on how big that foundation is, if it's viable, the most credit I'd give it is $5,000 to $10,000, and that's it.
I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah.
I was thinking the same thing. I like this question from Mason. How many calls per lead and how many leads for a deal are y'all seeing currently? I'd love to see where y'all are on this. This is great, Mason. The rule of thumb, 1 out of 200 conversations you have with property owners that own properties that look rough or in rough situations, or people that have personal problems with their property, it's 1 out of 200. And you're going to add a lot of follow-up to that. But I do want to say this. I want to give a shout out to Stephanie Hunt and Tracy Ritchie. I know that they both went over 100 contacts today. They did the empty the clip challenge that we have in the Rhino Tribe. And they were there with the 30, 40 other people that were doing the challenge on a Monday, but Stephanie talked to 105 people. And I used to do this, right? I used to have a real estate agent coach that would say, hey, listen, once a month, you have to talk to 100 people in a day, right? The 100 contact challenge. Every time I did that, I got a deal. And these guys have got back-to-back appointments from today's efforts. And they were on the phone all day.
Ring that bell, bro.
All day.
Congratulations, guys. That's the kind of energy it takes to be successful at this business. Keep it up.
But Stephanie does a live Zoom every single day, making calls that people in the Rhino Tribe can jump into, and she's just making calls all day long. And it is not. This business is not complicated. We are. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. This business is very simple. Conversations and offers. The more of those that you have, the more success that you're gonna find, and it's inevitable. I don't care if English is your second language. I don't care if you're an introvert or somebody's labeled you that your whole life. If you go out there and take action and really, really attach yourself to the outcome of the goal that you have in this business, you can't lose. And then you surround yourself with incredible people that are doing amazing things. You literally cannot lose. Tyler, I saw this post a few times. So we're starting direct to seller in Arizona. What are your top 2 or 3 lead sources you guys are utilizing to get the most out of your deals in Arizona? So TTP, so you got a cold call, text message marketing, and pay-per-click right now is going absolutely bananas. So those are our 3 right there.
You want to give them 3 lists as well?
Yeah, 3 lists right now that we really, really like. Very simply, tired landlords is always going to be in there. So those are people that are non-owner occupied. They don't live in the property. They've owned the property 10 years. It was built before 1990. They're 2,500 square feet or lower, and they're within Maricopa County, within an area that we know that we have a lot of buyers. They're not listed. We have them not listed, and that's most of the filters for that list. We're doing very well with that same exact list, but multifamily, and we have Audantic list that's working really well for us as well.
Tyler, I'll add one for you here. It's the empty nester list, and that's finding houses that are 2-story, that are 2,000 square feet or larger, that have 4 bedrooms or more, that have been owned for 10 years or longer. I'm telling you, that list isn't going to be very big, but it is going to be extremely powerful. So put that in your pipe and smoke it.
U.S. leads list as well. If you can get it in your market, it is worth every cent. It's the inherited and probate list, and they're bananas.
Love that. Tyler is a mastermind student. They do a lot of deals nationwide. I've been asking them to do deals in Arizona for a long time because I want to buy more deals with them. So thank you guys for giving them that information. That's freaking solid. All right. This one's a great one. I think that this is something that is constantly misunderstood. I have an opinion about this, but the number one person on the planet that should be answering this is not me. It's Jamil. Jamil, what's the difference between a micro flip and a daisy chain, or are they the same?
So, Mark, the difference, in my opinion, and I've talked to a lot of people about this, but a daisy chain is typically where you get somebody else's deal, and without any confirmation, without any permission, without any conversation, without anything, you take that person's deal, you add money on top of it, and then you send that to your list. Okay. Now, what ends up happening is that's an illegal marketing. That's illegal marketing. You don't have equitable interest. You don't have a right to market that property. And so why wholesalers get upset about that is because if somebody spent a bunch of time, getting a deal under contract, and then they see somebody else marketing their deal at another price, it actually could hurt that deal for that person to be able to buy it. And buyers don't like buying from somebody who doesn't have the deal direct either, or doesn't have permission to do that. Because again, if you're talking to a buyer and you say, hey, I've got this deal available, it's this much money, and you say it's available, well, you should be able to deliver that contract if they say, I'll take it. It shouldn't be a matter of it's available, okay, I'll take it. Hold on, let me see if I can get that for you. It shouldn't work that way, right? And so when you are daisy chaining, it's the person doesn't have any permission. They don't have any control. Now, a micro flip is where there's been an explicit conversation between the person marketing the deal and the contract holder. There's typically written permission given to the person that's marketing the deal to say, yes, I agree, you can market this property on my behalf or in addition to me. Now, will there be multiple assignments? Yes, there'll be multiple assignments. Is that problematic? No. I've done thousands of deals with multiple assignments on them, and I've continued to do thousands of deals with multiple assignments on them, and it's not an issue. The biggest issue is when you're doing things without properly disclosing to people what you're doing. That, in my opinion, is the difference between permission. That's the difference between a daisy chain and a micro flip.
Love that. Let's give Andres a golden bell, if you don't mind. Andres got his first deal today after 7 months. It was a sub-2 deal, baby. I want to point something out. I hear on YouTube every once in a while, you'll hear people say you should start with cash when you get started in this business. Guys, of course, I'm the creative finance guy. I have a dog in this fight, and my dog says, bark, bark. I think it's easier to get a sub-2 deal, but that's just me, because I can pay and take over somebody else's payments if you can find that specific seller. So congratulations, Andres. That's amazing. If anybody's wondering how Andres did that, reach out to him. Ask him, what list did he reach out to? All that kind of stuff. I'm sure he'd be happy to share that with you guys.
Guys, be curious. Be curious in this business. If somebody closes a deal, if somebody posted on Instagram or Facebook, it's not send, like, oh, jealousy at him. Send curiosity at him. How'd you do that? What was the situation of the seller? Was it a call? Was it a text? Was it an agent? Like, how do you do this business? Be very, very curious and keep that curiosity, because when you keep that curiosity, it makes this business so much more interesting, so much richer. You know what I mean? Don't think that you know everything. Just stay wildly curious. Be curious on the appointments that you go on. Be curious when you're talking to your cash buyers. What do you do with these properties? Why do you do it with these properties? How did you find your contractors? How did you get the money for this? How did you do this? I think everything that we've built in our business came from curiosity. Right. How did this happen? How do I do that over and over and over? How do I create a business out of this? How do I hit the goals that I'm going after? Be very, very, very curious and get rid of any kind of negativity. It's all optimism, it's all enthusiasm, and it's all curiosity. You go with that, and it's going to be so much sweeter and so much faster for you to be wildly successful in this business.
Can I, for a minute, just ask both Pace and Brent a question about negativity?
Yeah.
I'd like your guys' answer on this, because sometimes the greatest negativity comes from the people closest to us, right?
Sure.
Folks that we can't just walk away from, folks that we can't hit mute on. Maybe your wife is negative or your husband's negative, and you're not going to leave them, right? You love them. You've got children with them. Other than the fact that they don't support your dreams, they're pretty great, right? So I just say that. But anyways, what do you guys say to that, right? What do you say when somebody has a negative influence in their life that they truly adore, that they truly love, and the negative influence isn't doing it to be a butthead. They're being negative because they're fearful, because they're living in survival. How do you mitigate that kind of negativity, and how do you play with it in a way that doesn't ruin relationships? I'd like to hear both of your guys' answers.
I gotta tell you something. So I just recently met Tony Robbins in person, spent a day with him and Dean Graziosi and Jim Quick and a handful of other really cool people. And I got to know Tony, and Tony asked me to speak on his stage next week. So I'll be on Tony Robbins' stage next freaking
That's
week.
so dope, brother. Congrats.
Thank you. I appreciate
Bring
that.
that.
It was like one of those like pinch me moments. Like, oh my God.
Just send me a picture though, if you will, of your hand on his. I just want to see your mitt compared to his mitt. That's it. That's all I want.
I took a photo next to him. His belt is at my eyes. So
one of his teeth is the size of Pace's face.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
So here's what I did. I got a screenshot of the promo, right? Like there's the promo with all the people on the stage, and it's Tony and Dean Graziosi, Jim Quick, Jay Shetty, Pace Morby. And I go and I put it in my family group chat. Today, I did this 5 minutes before Wholesale Hotline. I already know what the outcome of this text message is, but every once in a while, every couple of years, I'll accomplish something that I'm really proud of, and I'll just throw it out there just to make sure that my family still doesn't support anything I do. Okay? Just because it's fun to watch, because now I understand the psychology of all of this. It's now expected rather than, oh, woe is me. I'm like, it's kind of like watching, it's like throwing a T-bone amidst a bunch of Watt-Reilers and see what happens. It's kind of like that. So I have a group chat with 15 of my family members, and I throw it in. I go, hey guys, I'm really proud of this. I just wanted to share this, which I never share anything in that group chat. I'm always loving on their photos and all that kind of stuff. Literally 15 people, nobody responds, but one of my sister goes, oh, that's pretty cool. Hey, are we still having hot dogs tonight, Mom?
Oh my God.
Guys, your family's not going to support you. Your friends are not going to support you until you've made it. They're not going to support you until you've made it. So stop ever thinking about that. And the negative people, here's the great thing about negative people. Expect that too. It means you're on the right path. Nobody's going to criticize you for doing nothing. You have to be doing something that they're somewhat envious of and jealous of. Now, how do I handle that? I get better friends, and I'm unapologetic for not. I get people. I have a friend of mine that when I first jumped into this business, his name's Casey. He criticized me for getting out of construction. He's like, "Oh, you're going to abandon taking care of your family with the thing you know to jump into something you have no idea about. Like, what do you know about real estate?" Right? Literally, he didn't say it that way. That's very aggressive. He was more like, "Well, what do you know about real estate? You're gonna quit construction to jump into something you don't know. Like, how are you gonna take care of your family?" Right? Like he was feigning politeness. Well, now guess what? When he sees Jamil and me on TV and he wants to send me a text message and he's like, "Yo, let's catch up. Let's have coffee. Let's do this, that, and the other." I leave him on red and I move on. I'm not trying to drag dead weight. That's my personal opinion. I got plenty of friends that we got to go out and make new relationships. We got to make people that want to be helped, people that want to make money. I don't spend time investing any time with people even in my family. I do it for fun. I'm like, "Oh, look, let's see what happens." And they talk about hot dogs rather than their brother, their son, or whatever standing on a stage that only very few people will ever stand on in their entire life. So that's my answer. What about you, Brent?
Yeah, I mean, it's all my friends and family work with me, right? But I remember going through a real tough time with Erin, my wife, when I was traveling a lot, right? Because we had young children, and Seamus, my oldest, from a different relationship, is on the autism spectrum, and not very difficult, right? Very difficult. I don't know. human. I mean, he's just a lot. And anyway, we love him, and it was just too much that I had to make a choice, right? Either get out on the road and do the thing, or stay at home and try to figure out a studio. Now, unfortunately for the world, but for me, my world, COVID hit.
Yeah.
And so everything was kind of put on pause, and I just didn't get it going again. So I think that there's just, I think to be super vulnerable and explain why batteries come included, explain why there's so much energy towards achievement, that the idea of not squeezing out all the potential that you have is something that's frightening for a lot of us. And I think just having those conversations, because I've had that conversation. Aaron met me and I had $1,000. You know what I mean? I mean, she met me 10 years ago. And I was just kind of getting things going. I hadn't even discovered wholesale yet. And so she's seen the whole progression. It's been very fast for her. And we butt heads sometimes because of it. But I think that I have to constantly explain why I feel like I have so much potential, even when we get to certain financial levels and certain things that we've achieved and paid off, and we don't really have to worry about money. Why keep pushing? And I don't know if people that aren't entrepreneurs will ever understand it. They just have to decide if they want to live with us. You know what I mean? If they want to be around us, if they want to, be a part of that. And I think just explaining, what's in our heart to serve. It's just different, and that's what it is. That's all business is. It's just, my goal is I want to $40 million. I want to provide $40 million of service. And that might change. I might get to 40 and might want 100, but that's in my mind. And I just say to myself, okay, $40 million worth of service is going to require a lot of sacrifices and a lot of things that most normal American families don't go through. And so strap in. It's going to be exciting, but it's going to be different.
I love that. What about you, Jamil?
It's interesting, right? Because I used to get so repelled by negativity. It would repulse me, and I'd get judgmental about it, and then I would realize, wait, hold on, I'm being negative about negativity. Like what's that, right?
It's infectious.
It is. And it would make me negative, right? And so, interesting. It works like that in mathematics, right? If you take a negative number and you multiply it with a positive number, the answer is negative.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So the negativity spreads, which is interesting, right? And so what I had to do is I had to really take a step back, and I had to first say, all is well. Everything is fine. The world is good, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if I come in it from that perspective, I know that we don't need to be fighting here. We're not dying. Everything is, the roof's not falling in. We're cool. Everything's cool.
Yeah.
So if all is well and we can agree to that, then now let's take a look at this. Most negativity, especially from people that we love and that love us, comes out of a place of survival.
Sure.
It comes from a survival emotion. It comes from a survival instinct. And when I think about people wanting to survive, I think about that as the love, right? I love you. I want you to survive. I want to survive. I want our family to survive. I want our relationship to survive. And this is the reason why I'm putting forward this negativity. This is why I'm rejecting this. This is why I'm fighting you on this. And yes, it could be, it likely is wrong. And yes, it likely is going to hold you back. And yes, it likely is going to kill your dreams. But when you can give that person the grace of understanding the intent behind it as possibly coming from a place of love, then you can meet it in love. And if you can say to them, look, I understand the fear is coming from a place of survival, but here's my goal. My goal is to get you and I out of this life where we're living in a survival place and getting us to a place where we're thriving. And it's not going to happen if we stay where we are. It's not going to happen if we keep doing what we did last week, because what we did last week got us here. And here isn't cutting it for either of us. So ask that you let me get us out of this place, and it's going to take sacrifice and it's going to take time, but will you take this journey with me? Will you take this ride? Yeah. If I meet somebody in a place of love and I can understand that they're coming at me from a place of love, that makes the conversation so much easier. Yeah. Yep. That's it.
Well, I think you summed it up in one word: grace. People need to look into that word more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Andy, thank you so much for this, brother. He says, learned so much from you through 3. Just wanted to show you guys some love and appreciation. Thank you, brother. Appreciate you so much. Attitude of gratitude will take you places in life. I tell you that.
Yes, sir.
Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu Obsession paid $1.99 to ask this question. What are some ways to make money with sub-2? Well, first and foremost, you can wholesale sub-2 deals. So largest assignment I've ever paid on a sub-2 deal was $150,000 on an assignment. It's a multifamily deal, okay? The largest assignment I've made on a sub-2 deal was $116,000. So you can assign sub-2 deals, probably 100, 200 people in the side comments, wholesale sub-2 deals every single month, okay? You can also keep them and put them in your rental portfolio. Now, once it's in your rental portfolio, guess what? You got 1,000 different ways to make money on that. You can live in the property. All the properties I live in or have lived in the last 7 years have all been sub-2. So you can live in your own property. You can also seller finance it. You can wrap it, right? You can do lease options. Literally, there are 26 different ways to make money on the exit strategy of creative finance. So 26 different ways. Wholesaling is just one of those 26 ways. So Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, I would actually go on my YouTube channel. I did a pretty good question, probably 15 minutes on YouTube, breaking all that stuff down. This one's a good one, kind of a random one. I really love this. Matthew Justice says, how do you guys handle people who ask for advice, help all the time, but you know they are not taking action? Perfect. This is what I do, okay? I'm actually teaching sub-2 students and Gator students this on Wednesday night at 6 p.m., so you guys should have the link for that. I'm teaching you guys how to make mini courses. And why do you need a mini course? A mini course is not about a mentorship course. It's like, hey, if I keep getting hit up because I'm on YouTube or Instagram or whatever else, there's like 15 common questions I get asked. So I just put those into a format, like a video format, and I give that to people. I go, hey, here's the top 15 questions people ask me. How do I get started? Where do your leads come from? What do your KPIs look like? Can I shadow you? Can I work for you for free? All the 15 questions that everybody's going to ask you on your Instagram DMs. I actually have those in recorded video format that I deliver to people so that I can avoid getting on the phone. And if they watch the video, okay, there's homework at the end of like, hey, once you watch this video, send me a DM and say, I'm all done, yeehaw. And if they don't say, hey, if they say, I finished the video, first, that's not what I asked you to type. I asked you to type, I'm all done, yeehaw. And you just told me you didn't actually watch the videos. And even if you did watch the videos, you don't know how to follow instructions. So I don't want to hang out with you anyway. Okay. So there's cool things I do with, it's people ask me like, how do I do so much? And how do I have my hands in a lot of things? I do this actually very often with other things other than just what you're talking about, Matthew. I do this with private money. So when private money lenders say, hey, Pace, I want to lend, I have 100 grand. I'd like to know what it looks like to lend money to you on a fix and flip or this, that, or the other. I go, no problem. Here's a 1-hour Zoom I did with a private money lender answering every question that they had. And whatever questions you have at the end, I would love to get on a potential phone call with you, or just let me know if you have questions via email. Here's what happened. I was so smart. What I did is I found a private money lender I knew was going to say yes at the end of my Zoom. So I went through this hour-long Zoom, answered the questions, did all the things, got to know I answered everything you could imagine. How to get secured, how much money they're going to make, when are they getting it back, how do I know, what's the worst that could happen, all those things. And then at the end, they were like, okay, we'll wire you the money. Cool, sounds great. How often do we get to hear from you? Well, you probably don't want to hear from me that often because I'm out making the deals happen so I can get the money back to you plus your return. And I nuance those little Zooms so that when I deliver it to the next private money lender, they're watching another private money lender commit to me on a Zoom. How much easier does that make it so I can raise private capital for my deals? It's these little nuanced genius marketing things that I do all the time. So Matthew, instead of getting on the phone with somebody, which is the default like path of least resistance, take a moment, record it on a Zoom, and the next time somebody says, can I get on a one-on-one with you, say, watch this Zoom, and if you have a question after it, then I'll get on a phone call with you. Save yourself a lot of time, headache, etc. By the way, all Sub2 and Gator students, I'm teaching you guys how to do this, specifically Wednesday night at 6 p.m. In our private Zooms. How do you guys handle that? Anything? Oh my gosh, Daniel Graber. Wow, $299. Daniel Graber at
pretty incredible. We should give that away to somebody.
Yeah.
We should. Daniel, thank you for that. Daniel, I've done a handful of deals with Daniel. Daniel's a Sub2 student. He's also a home investor and a broker up in Denver, and not Denver, Las Vegas. And I believe right now what he's focusing on is mobile homes. The last mobile home deal that he was doing that I saw and I was able to visit and hang out with him was up in, what's that town right before? I haven't been in Arizona for a month, so I forgot all the towns. Anyway, it doesn't matter. He does a lot of mobile home stuff. He buys them for like 30 grand, turns around and sells them on seller finance for like $200,000, crushes it. Daniel Graber, thank you for the $299. We will find somebody to give that to. Do you guys want to do that today?
Sure. Actually, here was an interesting thing that I saw happen. So we've got Gaetano Costanza, who's coming to Montana for the community camp, and he's having a little bit of a hard time figuring out where to stay. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to give the $299. I think we should give the $299.99 to somebody who's going to let Gaetano Costanza stay with them in their hotel room, or figure out how to get this guy's rooming situation figured out for the trip. How do you guys feel about that? Because he was just saying it in the chat today.
That's a great idea. I love that.
All right. So whoever wants to bunk up with Gaetano Costanza, you've got $299.99 coming to you in return. Or Gaetano, you could use that towards a hotel room, whatever it is. But that's where it's going to go.
Hey, Carly, I see you in the backstage. Will you help us by May? My assistant is currently driving through Yellowstone. She's not available for me to text. Can you take a note of this and make sure that May gets wind of this so she can coordinate that? Thank you. Guys, give Carly some love. You guys, I see her. She's a ray of sunshine for us.
Carly.
We love her so much.
Also, she did incredible in your new ad, by the way, bro. You guys crush it on that. It's so good. So good. I apologize. I might be increasing your ad spend because I watch it over and over again because they're so good. But anyways, yeah.
Have we actually released those as ads yet?
I think you have. Yeah, it's been popping up in my feed. It's actually you have released it as an ad.
It's Kevin Cho and Jake Villera acting as Mormon missionaries preaching the gospel of creative finance.
Oh yeah, that's out.
Oh, that's out? Okay.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Did you watch it, Brent?
I did. It's awesome.
Did you want to get baptized?
Oh, I was ready, man. You're just out of town.
Oh, I love it.
We've got almost 700 live eyeballs between Pace's, mine, and Brent's YouTube channels, and a bunch of Facebook pages that this streams on. Guys, do us a favor. Hit the like button. Don't be a turkey.
Also, don't forget, guys, this is also turned into a podcast. Not only this show, but 6 other pieces of content from Pace, Jamil, Jerry Norton, and myself on Wholesale Hotline. We get over 200,000 downloads a month on that podcast. Definitely check it out. There's something for everybody in there. You can pick and choose what you want to listen to, but some people just leave it on go, right? They just listen to podcast after podcast after podcast. And it's just a great way to stay in this feeling while you're driving around, while you're at the gym, really pouring into yourself instead of just being entertained by music or something else. Put something on. It's always helped me. I remember I listened to Lead the Field. It was a Audible program by Earl Nightingale. And I listened to that probably, I don't know, 200-300 times. And it really helped strengthen my confidence and mindset, really helped with a lot of self-doubt, really helped with just understanding what it means to go out there and do things that are a little bit different and to lead other people. So that's it just listen to the podcast, guys. Check it out.
Gaetano Costanza, Sean Baxter just said he has an open room for you. Sean Baxter, that $299 is coming to you. Come see me in Montana, or whoever's got it will give it to you. We've now got Gaetano a bed. Thank you, Dan Graber, for putting that in there. You're incredible. You donated live on Wholesale Hotline, and we got something figured out. Got to give it away live. Phenomenal.
Can we put T back up? She has been working so hard. She's absolutely incredible. We talked over the weekend about this deal. She got it locked up. Congratulations, T. Awesome.
She was talking about she was doing it for the challenge, right? That you guys are doing right now.
Yeah. Well, she had gotten that Empty the Clip. I think she had gotten that lead from the previous month's Empty the Clip, the 100 contact challenge. So, but phenomenal. Maybe not. Let us
know. How often are you guys doing that challenge?
Once a month on a Monday. So that's all Stephanie Hunt. She's absolutely incredible in our Rhino Tribe, and she just she wants to challenge herself, and she's been building, and now she's got she's got so much momentum behind her. She's doing incredible things.
Love it.
Yep.
Daniel says, Pace, where can I find a private money lender for my first sub-2 deal? In the sub-2 community, we have the average student has $72,000 in private capital. I see students lending money and partnering with each other all the time. You want a cheat code, how to find a private money lender. The people that we attract to the sub-2 community, a lot of them are private money lenders because they know that a lot of the sub-2 students are buyers and are looking for private money lenders. So sub-2 community. If that's not a great answer for you, then go to my YouTube and type in Pace Morby Private Money and a 4.5-hour video, literally, that answers every single thing you could ask me about private money. Okay. Ajwad says, why squatting up is so important. As a 19-year-old, I have done about 4 sub-2 deals in the last 4 months. This past week, I got 3 properties under contract and most likely will get 3 this week. I'm watching him, by the way. I'm watching him squat up inside the sub-2 community. He's crushing it. He's messaging me on Instagram, tagging me on Instagram. It's freaking phenomenal to see. It's amazing. Jamil, how do I ask an agent to take a listing down after your offer has been accepted and a contract has been executed?
Great question, Yo-Yo. So first and foremost, it's highly unlikely that you'll get an agent to take a listing down once it's been put on. Have I had an agent take a listing down? Yes. But I don't love asking them to do it. And the reasons why, look, you're putting them in a really interesting conundrum when you ask them to take it down. They've got to explain it to their broker. It's this whole thing, right? Here's what I do. First and foremost, I don't like to make offers on listed properties that are fresh. I like to make offers on listed properties that are 30, 60, 90 days on market. And then I'm never locking anything up anywhere near list price. So in fact, I want the listing to stay up. I want that high listing with a high listing price to stay on the market so that when they go and they see 123 Main Street's listed for $400,000 and Jamil's selling it for $299. Yeah, I think maybe I should pay attention to this deal or comp it or see if there's an actual situation here because he's selling it $100,000 under list price. And so, Yo-Yo, if you're doing this correctly, you shouldn't want them to take the listing down. Now, if you're going after fresh leads, if you want, let's just say, for instance, it's something that's brand new listed, what I would do is I would call that agent and I would say, hey, I noticed you just listed this property. Tell me about what's going on. What kind of action do you have? Get that out of the way. Then say, okay, look, I prefer to buy houses before they get listed on the MLS. The reason being is once you list a property on the MLS, it's got a price stamp on it. And that means when I flip it, I'm going to have a hard time with an appraiser. I'd way prefer to buy this off market so I don't have any history of price stamp. And I can actually pay you a little bit more money than what I would have paid if you had put it on the market. So the next time you have an ugly house, something in original condition or needing a lot of work, what do I need to do to have you send that to me before you put it on the MLS so I can give you a higher than ask offer because you've kept it off the MLS for me? So that's how I set that up. But remember, if I am going after houses that are listed on the MLS, I'm always going to be locking those things up way below list price. So I want it to stay on the market.
Love that. So Brent, got a good question for you. Patty's been asking this question a couple of times. We're finally getting to her. Thank you, Patty, for being consistent and persistent in the side chat. I'm trying to get my first deal. If you had to recommend one thing that would help me get my first deal this month, what would it be? Cold calling?
Yeah, I mean, you certainly can. You got to talk to 200 people. You got to make sure that you've got a list of potential property owners that have problems with their property. So, I mean, just do the eyeball test if you don't have a huge budget, or pull some lists from batch leads and or PropStream. I think that yeah, you could go and have as many conversations as possible right now, and you're gonna do a really you're gonna go a long way in that first month. If you're talking to 200 property owners that month, you'll find something in there. I also think what Jamil was talking about is a really strong strategy, especially if a property's been sitting for 30, 60, 90 days. I called up an agent earlier this year just for a YouTube video, and had a conversation that ended up, he didn't want to sell me the property that I had called about, but he had a different property that I got $90,000 under the list price. And so,
and you sold that fast, I imagine.
We flipped it, actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was a little bit tight for a wholesale. It was a little bit more work than we needed, and it was earlier this year. The buyers were still kind of crawling out of the
it's gone nuts.
It's gone bananas now. But I've had so many, I'm telling you, I've had so many people, because I have all the Rhino Tribe members in my phone. I've had so many people reach out in the last couple weeks, and I'm sure you guys have too. That's like, I put on things on pause. I'm coming back in. I'm coming back in.
Bro, we did $500,000 in assignments last week.
Yeah.
Bananas.
Yeah. It's absolutely bananas.
It's crazy.
But
that's more than we did when the market was like.
That's bananas.
It's bananas.
Yeah. We're having July's a $300K month for us. Yeah. It's awesome.
Good job, dude.
Yeah. Well, and then August it'll probably be close to that. Not in a week, but in a month. Yeah, it's going really, really, really awesome.
What do you say we do one more, boys?
Yeah. I mean, either way, have conversations. If it's with agents, if you feel more comfortable, some people just feel more comfortable calling up agents on properties that are already listed. And if they don't want to sell, if you're having a conversation with that agent, they don't want to sell that property, the owner is really stuck in that price, and you ask them, what are their plans with this property if they don't get this price? And you go down the whole creative rabbit hole that we could go into on some other call, and Pace can really let us all know how to do that the most effective. But you ask them if they have another listing that needs to sell fast, and then you find those opportunities. So either way, you got to talk to people, either agents or call people that own ugly houses.
For expired listings, Brent, are you skip tracing the seller directly, or bringing back the agent to get the seller's contact information?
Yeah, direct to the seller. Yeah. And there's a ton of services that do that. Batch leads to that. I used to call Red X. Red X has been around for forever. TheRedX.com, and you can get all the canceled, expired, and for sale by owners. Put them into a dialer, and now you're rocking and rolling.
I agree with that. Jerry texted me today. I almost want to pull up this property. It's a $9 million property on the river here, Flathead River.
Yeah.
And he sends me a text, and he goes, hey, expired listing. I called the agent. Seller says they're interested in creative finance. And my first thing was like, why did you call the agent? And Jerry goes, I just like talking to agents.
Yeah. No, it's the truth. I mean, listen, they're phenomenal. I mean,
Well, to Jamil's point and Jerry's point, working direct to agent, is that even when you don't get a deal with an agent, you get a relationship that then will ultimately lead to a deal, right?
There you
So
go.
what Jerry's doing is he's saying, oh, this is awesome. I'm just going to work with the agent. If the agent says no, but I've got other listings, then your phone call to the seller was not futile, right? So on the other side of that, if you call the agent, they're a total bonehead, then I'm sure Jerry will actually call the seller directly. But some people just prefer to talk to agents. I'm not that guy. Jamil and Jerry like talking to agents, and it works out great for them, right? All of this works. It all freaking works.
You know what's interesting? So today, I'm Bobby and I made a YouTube video. It'll come out in a little bit, but I people who are brand new, they're like, I don't want to talk to an agent because I'm brand new. And I keep hearing that if I'm brand new and I try to talk to an agent, they're going to swallow me whole. They're going to yell at me. They're not going to want to work with me. They're going to murder me on the phone. It's going to be terribly difficult. I'm petrified. So then I said, okay, well, you know what? I'm just going to call some agents. I'm going to say I'm brand new.
Yeah.
Can you help me? Like, I don't know what I'm doing. Right.
Yeah.
And so, bro, this was so good. I called a realtor today who had a property that needed work, listed on the MLS in Maryville. And we chatted and I said, hey, look, I'm really brand new. I don't know much about what I'm doing. I've got a private money lender guy thing. I got a paper. He's going to buy it. He's going to give me the money. I was really acting like a complete buffoon. Right. Yeah. And then I was like, well, you've got this one listed for $299. Can I ask you an honest question? He's like, sure. I said, if I wanted to flip this and make some money to feed my family, what do you think I should pay for it? He's like, well, you want to make some money? I'm like, yeah. He's like, probably $230. He has it listed at $300. Yeah. He's telling me what my number should be. Mm-hmm. This is a real estate agent. I'm just being honest and transparent and telling him I'm brand new. Help me. Yeah. And instead of biting my head off, what did he do? He helped me.
Yeah. Listen, when you interrupt people's day and just jump into their life by calling them cold, there's going to be people that are going to be mad. That's just a fact. Yep. Whether that's agents or homeowners or whatever it is, there's going to be people that are pissed off that you interrupted their day.
Yes.
That's just a fact. But there's also going to be kind, loving, fun, engaging people. There's going to be people that truly need what you provide. They need some help with this property because they have a personal problem with it. Okay? And agents, especially agents, that's how they feed their family, is selling houses. If they're getting no calls on a listing that they've had on the market, and after 30, 60, 90 days,
it's stale.
They're gonna be open to those conversations. So that's why we call it the Rhino Tribe and having rhino thick skin. You got to have thick skin in this business. You're going to be rejected. People are going to be mad at you. They are going to yell at you. They will threaten you. And then you just move on with your life. and it was really tough the first 1,000 people that I talked to, being able to understand that, because you don't want to feel like you're this outlier. You don't want to feel like you're getting kicked out. You don't want to feel like you're ruining somebody's day. And then after a while, you just realize that you're thinking so much of the effect of these and not the cause. The cause of all of this is there's people out there that will not solve their problems with their property, and we need to find them. That's an absolute fact. So focus on those people and don't worry about all the other people that want to tear you down or tell you mean things or reject you. They don't know you. You're going to be gone. You're going to be gone. You know what I mean? You're going to be off chasing down your dreams. And you'll never talk to them again. They're not going to. The worst thing in the world. This is the worst thing. You ready? I call somebody and they're like, who is this? This is Brent Daniels and I want to buy your house. No. And then they hang up and they trace my call and they come into my office and they shoot me right in the face. That's the worst thing, right? That's the worst thing. Does that ever happen? No.
Did you guys lock the door, by the way? No, I'm just playing. That never happens.
It doesn't happen.
It doesn't happen. So Gaetano, get a hold of Sean Baxter. Sean Baxter, thank you so much for your generosity. You'll be paid for that. Sean, Gaetano, become friends. Bye.
Brent Daniels, you want to take us home, brother?
Great show today. Great having you guys back. This feels great.
It sure does.
I know. All three in action. This is absolutely incredible. We love you guys. Thank you so much for joining us. Make sure that you check us out at Wholesale Hotline on wherever you listen to your podcasts, and we'll see you next week. Love you guys.
Later.
Or just say squat up.
So squat up and enjoy the show.